Right, let's talk about viruses. You know, those microscopic little freeloaders that treat your body like a cheap Airbnb, throw a massive party, leave a mess, and then never pay the cleaning fee. They are the universe's tiniest, most successful criminals. And some of them are so common, you've probably hosted one without even knowing it. Think of it like this: you've had a house guest for years, maybe decades. You thought they were just a quiet cousin who occasionally used too much hot water. But it turns out this whole time they've been secretly loosening the floorboards and rewiring your toaster to explode. That, in a nutshell, is the story of the Epstein Barr virus, the world's most deceptively boring-sounding agent of chaos. Epstein Barr, or EBV if you're into the whole brevity thing, is staggeringly common. In fact, about 95% of adults have been infected with it at some point. It's the virus that most famously causes mononucleosis, or the kissing disease, which sounds much more romantic than it actually is. It's less a rom-com kiss in the rain, and more sleeping for 3 weeks straight and feeling like you've been run over by a moderately sized sedan. For most people, that's where the story ends. You get it, you feel awful, you get better, and you move on, assuming the virus has packed its bags and left. But oh, you sweet trusting soul, it hasn't left. It's just gone quiet, lurking in the shadows of your immune system like a ninja with a long-term lease. It chills out inside your B cells, which are a type of white blood cell. Think of your B cells as the bouncers of your body's nightclub. They're supposed to identify trouble and kick it out. But EBV is so slick, it doesn't just sneak past the bouncers. It puts on a security jacket, grabs a clipboard, and starts telling the bouncers what to do. It integrates itself so perfectly that your body's security detail just shrugs and accepts it as part of the team. For decades, it just sits there dormant, waiting, but waiting for what? Let's turn our attention to multiple sclerosis, or MS, a baffling disease where the body's own defenses go rogue. In MS, the immune system attacks myelin, the protective coating around your nerves, like a security team mistaking a friend for a foe. When myelin is damaged, nerve signals get scrambled, leading to unpredictable symptoms, vision problems, numbness, fatigue, and more. For decades, scientists have searched for the trigger. What convinces the immune system to attack? The answer remains a medical mystery. When you have a mystery this big, you start by rounding up the usual suspects. In the case of autoimmune diseases like MS, the lineup is predictable. First up, you have genetics. Yes, your family tree. It's long been known that if a close relative has MS, your own risk is slightly higher. This suggests that some people are just born with a genetic blueprint that makes them more susceptible. It's like having a faulty alarm system installed in your house from day one. It's more likely to go off for no reason. But genetics couldn't be the whole story, because identical twins, who share the exact same DNA, don't always both get MS. If one twin has it, the other only has about a 1 in 4 chance of developing it. So, genetics loads the gun, but something else has to pull the trigger. Next in the lineup is the environmental factors gang. This is a shadowy, poorly defined group of culprits. It includes things like where you grew up. MS is strangely more common in countries farther from the equator. Could it be a lack of vitamin D from sunlight? Maybe. Scientists have looked at diet, smoking, and other lifestyle choices. All of these things seem to play a small role, like accomplices who drove the getaway car or provided a safe house. They were involved, sure, but they weren't the brains of the operation. They were the bumbling sidekicks, not the arch-villain. The investigation needed a prime suspect, a single trigger that could explain the vast majority of cases. This is where viruses entered the picture. The theory was simple. What if a common infection was the trigger? What if a virus could somehow get into the body, hide, and then later trick the immune system into attacking the myelin? It was a compelling idea. After all, viruses are known for their deceptive tactics and their ability to mess with our immune programming. Investigators looked at a whole host of them. Measles, herpes viruses, human retroviruses. They were all brought in for questioning. But every time the evidence was flimsy, the connection was weak, the alibis were too strong, and the case went cold again. They were looking for a suspect who was present at nearly every crime scene. And there, sitting quietly at the end of the lineup, was Epstein Barr. For years, scientists had noted a strange correlation. Nearly every single person diagnosed with MS had evidence of a past EBV infection. But correlation isn't causation. After all, nearly everyone has had EBV. It's like saying everyone who committed a crime had also, at some point, eaten bread. It doesn't mean bread causes crime. It just means bread is popular. To prove the case, they needed more. They needed to find the smoking gun, the piece of evidence that would directly link this common, unassuming virus to the devastating sabotage of the nervous system. The stage was set for a major breakthrough. Okay, hold on a second. Before we reveal the final clue that cracked this case wide open, let's pause for a quick commercial break. Are you enjoying this journey into the body's most baffling criminal cases? Do you find yourself on the edge of your seat, wondering which microscopic villain will be unmasked next? Well, guess what? There are thousands of stories just like this one unfolding in laboratories and hospitals all around the world, and we are here to bring them to you. If you're finding this story fascinating, do us a massive favor and hit that like button. It tells the mysterious algorithms that rule our lives that you want to see more content like this. And while you're at it, why not go one step further and click subscribe? Subscribing ensures you won't miss a single clue. So go on, become a card-carrying member of our little club. Like, subscribe, and maybe even hit the notification bell if you're feeling particularly adventurous. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to us. It allows us to keep chasing down these stories, translating the complex language of science into the thrilling mysteries they truly are. Alright, commercial break over. Thank you for your support. Now, let's get back to the case. We were just about to reveal the evidence that finally put Epstein Barr in the hot seat. So, how did they finally do it? How did science move from a vague suspicion to pointing a definitive finger at EBV? The answer came from an absolutely colossal study, the kind of scientific undertaking that makes you wonder if the researchers ever slept. A team at Harvard, using data from the United States military, conducted a 20-year manhunt. They had access to a treasure trove of information, blood samples taken every few years from over 10 million active-duty military personnel. This was the perfect setup. It was a massive group of young, healthy people, and the researchers had a library of their blood samples, creating a biological timeline for each person. They scoured this massive database for people who had developed MS during their service. They found 801 of them. Then, they went back in time, analyzing their stored blood samples from before they were diagnosed. This was the key. They could look at the blood of someone who was perfectly healthy 1 year and diagnosed with MS a few years later. They were looking for the trigger, the one thing that changed right before the disease appeared. They tested for all sorts of viruses, but they kept their focus on EBV. They wanted to know, was the virus already there, or did it show up just before the crime? The results were absolutely stunning. Of the 801 soldiers who developed MS, all but one had tested positive for EBV before their diagnosis. But here's the kicker: they looked at the blood samples taken years earlier, and they found that 35 of these individuals were initially EBV negative. They didn't have the virus. Then, during their military service, they became infected with EBV. And after that infection, every single one of them went on to develop MS. The risk of getting MS after an EBV infection wasn't just a little higher, it was a staggering 32 times higher. This was it. This was the smoking gun. It was no longer a correlation, it was a clear sequence of events. Infection first, disease second. The final piece of the puzzle came from understanding how the virus does it. Scientists discovered something called molecular mimicry. It turns out a part of the Epstein Barr virus, a specific protein, looks almost identical to a protein found in our own myelin. It's like a bank robber wearing a mask that just happens to look exactly like the bank manager's face. When the immune system launches its attack against the EBV virus, it creates wanted posters for this viral protein. But because the myelin protein looks so similar, the confused immune cells start attacking the myelin too. They can't tell the difference between the criminal and the innocent bystander. The virus, in its brilliant evil, had framed our own nervous system for its crimes. And there you have it, the case of the century solved. After decades of dead ends and false leads, the link is no longer a question but a near certainty. Doctors are stunned, not because the idea is new, but because the evidence is now so overwhelmingly strong. The quiet, unassuming houseguest, the Epstein Barr virus, has been unmasked as the primary trigger for multiple sclerosis. This is a monumental breakthrough. It's like finding out that the secret to disarming all the world's bombs is to just press a hidden off switch that was there the whole time. It fundamentally changes how we think about the disease, and more importantly, how we might fight it. This discovery opens up a whole new world of possibilities. For the first time, we can talk about preventing MS. Imagine a vaccine against EBV. If you could prevent people from ever getting infected with the virus in the first place, you could potentially stop the vast majority of MS cases before they even start. It would be one of the greatest public health victories in modern history. And for those who already have MS, understanding the enemy is the first step to defeating it. Researchers are now developing therapies that specifically target the EBV-infected B cells, aiming to take out the hidden viral reservoirs that are fueling the autoimmune attack. The future of MS treatment suddenly looks a lot brighter. This story is a perfect example of why science is so damn exciting. It's a slow, painstaking process of detective work, filled with moments of frustration and failure. But then, a discovery like this comes along and changes everything. It reminds us that even the most complex and heartbreaking mysteries can be solved with enough persistence, collaboration, and brilliant thinking. It's a testament to the human desire to understand, to peel back the layers of the universe and find the answers that can change millions of lives. And the best part is, the work is never truly done. Solving one mystery only reveals another, even more intriguing one waiting in the wings. So, what's next on the docket? What other secrets are our own bodies keeping from us? The world of medical science is full of them, from the bacteria in our gut that might influence our mood to the strange phenomenon of long COVID. There is no shortage of cases to crack. We hope you'll stick with us as we continue to explore these incredible stories. The next investigation is just around the corner, and trust me, you won't want to miss what we uncover. The clues are out there, scattered in labs and research papers, just waiting for someone to piece them all together. The game, as they say, is afoot.